Whew. I'm always 5 seconds away from saying good night, YouTube, because I listen to so much YouTube. I should put some music on. I usually have some music on before I go live. Anywho, y'all, I'm just here. I feel like I haven't gone live in forever, but I feel like I went live yesterday. Yeah, I just constantly come on here to tell different parts of my story because I know that there's so many people going through this stuff. There are so many people silently suffering with the same thing that I went through. That's my cat. Fun story, I have 2 cats. I have 1 boy, and he thinks he's a dog, so we have to take him for walks. And the girl usually doesn't care because she wants to be left alone all the time. But these days, when we take the cat out, when we take the bigger cat out, the girl, she does this now. So I asked my kids to take the cat, the little cat, the big cat out so that he doesn't make a ton of noise while I'm on live. And then now that he's gone, there goes the little one. Like, and cats, if anybody has pets or cats, you know that cats have a problem with a door being closed in your house. If you have closed doors in your house, the cat just wants the door open to see what's going on inside. Nothing more, nothing less. They just want to see what's going on. So anyway, if you guys hear my cats in the background, they are very beautiful and very spoiled cats. They're Bengals, and I think they're perfect, and we never get mad at them no matter what they do, so they're a little spoiled. But anyway, anywho, I'm just here to, let me see who's in here. I have to go live on Instagram, and Instagram is nothing but fake people, unfortunately. I just see Toronto as a very sad place, unfortunately. But there's nowhere in the world that's not like that. Wherever there are money-hungry people, there are going to be fake people, right? Anywho, so this is usually, I have something to talk about that is very near and dear to my heart. If you haven't, usually I have my YouTube pinned. If you haven't checked out my YouTube yet, it's called God's Way 1019. And I talk about my story in being gang stalked in Toronto, which has been, you know, I say it lightly that it's not fun, but it's been like a life-changing experience. I say sometimes that I'm happy that it happened. But I think nobody wants it to happen. It's just that I can see why it had to happen. I could see the benefits to it. I've definitely grown into a stronger person, a person who's able to stand on their own 2 feet, a person who's able to defend themselves, a person who can see people, a lot better for who they are, a person who has much lower expectations of human beings, Yeah, it is what it is. I've lost a lot of people throughout this process. I mean a lot of people. I've lost a lot of people throughout this process. This is a very scary thing to go through. It's a terrifying thing to go through. I want to start by so when I come live on Instagram, I come live on Instagram so people on Instagram hear what I'm talking about, and it's people in Toronto, I feel like, that need to hear what I'm talking about anyway. And then I upload it to YouTube, and YouTube is kind of like an archive where people can go through my videos and just kind of, actually, let me pin the YouTube in here so people can see what the YouTube page is. This is the YouTube page for anybody that wants to go on their free time, check out the videos, but, I usually figure out what I'm going to talk about through meditation. I'm a huge advocate for meditation because meditation is a time to quiet your mind. That is very hard to do. in normal times, because in normal times you try to quiet your mind and your mind wants to talk about your bills, your errands, what are you going to eat, you're hungry, da da da. In hard times, meditation is difficult because your body's in a state of panic, but that's when you need it the most. You need to calm yourself down. You need to do a lot of breath work. You need to tell your nervous system that things are okay, that things are going to be okay, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to make decisions. You're not going to be able to think clearly. You're going to have a lot of fog going on around you. You're going to not see things properly, and you're going to make hasty decisions. You're going to be impatient. Things are going to be terrifying. So you need to be able to breathe, calm yourself down, bring yourself down. Bring yourself back in balance. It's important. Okay? So, but when I'm in meditation a lot of times, oh my God, so loud, sorry. But when I'm in meditation, sometimes things will come up, like topics that I should talk about on my live, or just little things. A lot of things that I need to resolve will come up in meditations. And hold on, I usually would have like relaxing music. I should have done this before I started the live. I'm sorry, guys. There we go. Okay. See, I like to play the relaxing music. It's all about like setting the tone for yourself, especially if you're being gang stalked. Listen, you need to set an atmosphere like a spa around yourself at all times, because people are creating very chaotic circumstances around you. So I do the soft music, I do the water sounds, I do meditation, I relax myself, I spend time with myself. That's important. Pull yourself away from the day-to-day. I want to start with something that, okay, so you're being gang stalked and you really feel outnumbered, because you are. So it's gonna feel like it's a way more people than it actually is. So say, for example, it might only be 80 to 100 people that are gang stalking you, let's say, right? Something tells me it's less. Something tells me it's about that at any given time. Because if you think about it, let's say you're in a shopping center. If you really count, let's say you'll figure out 10 people in the shopping center that are surrounding you. Let's say 10, right? But in your mind, you'll probably think, okay, so there was 10 yesterday, and there's probably 20 today as I was going where I was going, and there's this and there's that. They reuse people, but you're probably just not recognizing the faces of the people that are being reused. Okay, that's number one. Number two, you're being watched in ways where you're not fully aware. You are not really fully aware of everyone that's watching you. That's for your benefit, because if there were 25 people, you really don't want to see all 25. But you know something weird's going on, and your body's in a tense state, and your body feels like something is not right. So you trying to put into words to explain to someone, like, I feel like something is not right now, it's going to be hard to put into words, and people are going to make you feel like you're crazy, but internally you know what you're feeling. So you feel outnumbered, and you feel like 100,000 people are following you, and it really is probably 100. Let's call it 100 people. Let's call it 150. Let's call it 200. This is how I see the hierarchy of this thing. There has to be some sort of, whether it's a politician, or I'm going to speak about Canada, somebody in the RCMP, at least one, somebody really high in the RCMP, somebody who can sign off on things or make things disappear. And they're shaking hands. For me, it's drug related, and they're shaking hands with the drug organizations. And there's some sort of, maybe we can call it a peace treaty. Maybe we can call it an agreement, because this thing is huge. They have to get control over it. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. It's probably just greed, but let's just say it's not. Maybe they're saying these people have a whole ton of money. We're not getting the support from the government that we need. We're not even getting the funding, not even nearly enough funding as these people. And so the best we can do is say, you guys are going to do this anyway. You know, we're still going to make arrests if we catch people crossing the border, but, you know, maybe they're turning a blind eye to things. Who knows? Who knows, right? I don't know. I'm not there. I'm surmising based on what I feel, based on what I've seen, right? They definitely have police in pocket. And I'm not talking about police turning a blind eye. I'm talking about very corrupt people who gang stalk themselves. Police. 1,000%. People are paid to do it. It is what it is. So maybe they decide, shit, they're going to pick up some extra income. They're going to intimidate people. Who knows, right? They have people everywhere, right? And they bribe their way through because people take money. Now, so you're feeling it's everybody and you feel like the whole world is against you, and really, I'm just here to tell you it is not. When this is over, and it will be, they want to make you think it's for life, but it's not. What they do is they gang stalk you so long that you continue the whole thing by yourself. You continue to think that this is still happening to you when it's not. They mess with your sense of reality and with what you think is true. But here is what you have, and what you will always have is your free will. And free will is yours, whether this be spiritual, whether this be reality based in the real world, you always have your free will. So for me, I made a decision. I chose that there was never going to be any version of reality where I would succumb to this and have my will bent. I was never going to ever... Hold on one second. Guys? You back? Oh my gosh, you guys freaked me out. See, again, they came in so quietly. You can just feel people's energy. Don't ever doubt that. Don't ever doubt. That's what keeps you safe. That instinct of something is not right, someone's following me, someone's watching me, something's off. That's accurate. Don't let people make you think that that's not real, because it 100% is. No matter how much bullying and no matter how much pushing and no matter how many illusions, you have to set your sort of definite sort of guidelines for yourself. You know, in my situation, there's been an insistence lately of like, what high school did you go to? It doesn't matter what high school I went to, what kindergarten I went to, what job I worked in 1988. Like, it doesn't matter. The bottom line is, no matter what fake friendship I make, I'm not getting on the plane. And anybody that offers me to get on any type of plane, the answer is no. That's the end of that. Even if I accidentally went on a trip with someone on the way back, I'm gonna go to security with the drugs. It's like, it doesn't matter. It's like it's not clicking because I think they haven't met someone with such a strong sense of their own free will. And you have to, if you want to get through this thing, you have to have an extremely strong sense of what you will and will not do that is going to be unshakable. Where the heck is... Oh my God. I'm so disorganized tonight. You have to have an extremely strong sense of what you will and will not do. And that's what it boils down to, is free will. Now, this is the part of it, is that they're going to make it hurt so bad. They're going to push you because time is of the essence in this situation here. Time is of the essence. Nobody wants to be spending. The longer they have to gang stalk you, the more money that they spend. And the longer they have to spend money, the more it might look like you're actually not going to come on board, and that's going to be an issue. Now, for me, they've actually made the issue worse than it should have been, because had I just been left alone and had my case been abandoned, I wouldn't feel the need to come on YouTube. I wouldn't feel the need to help other people. I would have just been grateful and been like, oh my God, I can't believe like I went through that. I'm done. Whatever, let me move on with my life. But they've bullied me so long and so hard that it just changed who I am as a person. And I really feel like I've been staring death in the face for 2 years. And I feel like I quite literally have. But it's just been like, it's like creating a monster, really. It should have just been left alone. It just got too bad. It got taken out of proportion. Sometimes people have to learn when to leave things alone, because you make things worse by like, nothing would have been gained either way, and nothing has been gained with me. And the thing is, usually how this would go is when this happens and early on in the game, someone comes out and they say, oh my God, look what these people are doing to me, I'm gonna expose them. Because it hasn't been exposed to too many people yet, it's like that's what they want. They get to paint you as crazy. This is not happening. This is not going on. But the thing is, so many people in Toronto know that this is happening right now. It's like, listen, I know that people were taking bets on when I would go down, how I would go down, what would happen to me. People know. And it's so bad that when I walk in the streets, a lot of the times, people look at me like they recognize me and I've never seen them before. Some people like look like they want to cross to the other side of the street, like they don't even want to be on the same side of the street as me. Other people just stare. I mean, it's really strong reactions. It's not just like little reactions. So I remember this girl seeing me, and her reaction, as soon as I walked in the room, she was like, oh my God. And she like turned her face and she wouldn't look at me for the rest of the day. And she looked so uncomfortable. And I was like, what on earth did they tell people about me? I have no idea. I have no idea what people have been told about me. I know that my spiritual beliefs would probably be a little bit shocking to some people, and that's fine. Those are my beliefs, and that's nobody's business in the first place. So if somebody talked about what I believe spiritually and people gossiped and they heard and now they feel scared, then... And my lives definitely did not make it any better. But, people are going to understand you or they're not going to understand you. And, for me, I wear who I am on my sleeves. I always have. Well, that's not true. I think a lot of people think I'm mysterious because they're looking for friends that I should have. And I'm a loner. I'm not around a lot of people, etc. Like, people are really fishing for a lot of information about me. I don't have a social media. I just kind of exist for a girl my age. And I know it's probably creepy. It's probably weird now that I think about it. I feel normal, but I'm trying to see, I can see how people might think that's very weird. All of these things are the things that made me probably a more attractive person to attack. Because I'm sure people thought, well, we're going to get rid of her and no one will come looking. And boy, were they wrong. The wrong type of people came looking, right? But, I mean, I don't know. Whatever it is, whatever they said, people definitely turned a lot of people against me. And, hopefully now with my videos that I'm telling my side of the story and people understand that I have been persecuted, I have been bullied, my name has been sullied by something that I absolutely know is a monster. I don't just consider him a monster, he is a monster, and people are going to know about it. They are. 100 people are going to know about this person and what they do to other people. John Ferreira has thousands of victims, and everybody around him is a victim of him, whether they know it or not. Everybody around him is a victim of him, whether they know it or not. They just have to sit down and think about the kind of things that have been happening to them since he's come around. He's a fake nice person. He's a demon, he's demonic, he's dark, and he's dirty. But anyway, you know, really, the message in regards to your free will is this. I'm reaching back into the darkest days for me, the days where I was surrounded constantly everywhere I went. People try to put pressure on me at all times. People try to make me feel like they had an issue with me or I did something to them personally. I was very confused. Every gang stalking victim goes through the same thing. You feel the same emotions. You don't know how people can behave like this. They don't understand that their actions in that moment, that there's 50 people for the day doing that same thing to you, and then it's happening every single day for months and months and years at a time, and these people won't stop unless they're made to stop. They're not going to stop unless they're made to stop. In a lot of cases, like, you know, for me, there was something specific that they wanted me to do. They gang stalked me in order to be a drug mule. But there are some people, there's nothing specific that they want you to do. You don't know. They just target you and they attack you for the longest time. And that is what they're doing. And they won't stop until you commit suicide or whatever. Like, somebody is getting pleasure out of seeing you in pain. It's crazy because most of the gang stalking victims I know are very sweet, caring people. Like, I don't know them personally, but I'm looking at these people and I'm seeing nothing but very meek, kind, nice people. They're very kind people. And most of them believe in God. Now, that's not to say much because there are a lot of people who so-called claim to believe in God and they're satanic. So it doesn't mean much, but I don't know, from what I read, I don't read people who, some of them, you know, they're kind of whatever, they're normal people in a sense. So when I say normal, I mean like not evil, but I wouldn't say angelic either, right? But yeah, that's what I find. For me, I can only speak when it comes to people who are being bullied to do something, for example, to be a drug mule like I was being bullied. Your free will is all you have. And as long as you keep exercising it, no one can actually take that from you. No one can actually force you to do something that you do not want to do. But that's what they're pushing you to do, is something that you don't want to do. But you have to make the decision to do it. And if you continue thinking about being in pain and how difficult it is to get up every day and live your life and be comfortable in your life because of what's going on, if that continues to happen to you and you're more concerned with alleviating the pain than getting through it, then you're absolutely going to lose yourself. It's going to be a mistake and you're going to waste your entire lifetime and it's going to be a mistake. You have to be able to walk all the way through it and just trust God blindly that God will make it better. That is what you have to do. Walk through. There is no negotiation on giving up a lifetime because somebody's gang stalking you for a couple months or a year. Think about this period of time. And you know what? God said to me during that time, like, you're going to forget about this so quickly. You're going to forget how bad this is so quickly. And I was like, there's no way. I was annoyed when I heard this. I was like, no way, whatever. Yeah, it's true. I kind of do forget about, like, how bad it was. It's a feeling more than anything else. Because like I said, and this is a spiritual live tonight, so, you know, I'm going there. But, like I said, this doesn't work without spell work. It's annoying, but with the spell work, it's worse. With the spell work, people projecting anxiety at you, people projecting depression at you. And I know I have emotions projected at me all the time. I have anger. You know, I can't really say depression because that's just one feeling I don't feel. I don't know. I have faith in God, so it's kind of hard to just not have hope in the future. It's insane. But I'll say anxiety and stuff like that. But I know that those thoughts are not mine because they're not anchored in anything logical. There's no logical basis to them. I can't just be like, oh, I'm anxious to go outside for something that I'm desensitized to, or I'm anxious to do this, or I'm anxious to, like, I just don't feel, I know when the anxiety is not mine. And the other thing too is I tend to feel people's emotions. And that's what empaths are. That's what empathetic people do. You feel the emotions of other people. So you have to, over time, you're an empath your entire life. You know how to differentiate what is your feeling from, you're around someone who's anxious, you're around someone who's sad, you're around someone who's scared, because those people, they change the energy in the room, at least for you. Maybe not for other people, but for you, they change the energy, right? So you have to learn ways, even before you get gang stalked, you learn ways of managing those feelings that are just not yours. But anyway, hang on to your free will for dear life. And I always say, you just need to get through it. And I know you cannot imagine the end of it right now. You can't see the end of this. It's not your job to ever see the end of anything. If you are running a business, or if you have a job, you can't even imagine the end of your life. Like, you might have an idea of how it might go, but you don't really know. So there's nothing that we're going through where we know for sure how these things are going to go. You really don't. I had to be encouraged every day, and I had to find ways of encouraging myself. I had to find ways of bringing light to my situation and taking control of my situation. And like I always say, one of the first ways that I took control of my situation was to give up the fear. As soon as you continue to be in a state of fear, it puts you in a state of paralysis. It's a lot harder to calm yourself down. You have to breathe. It is the most powerful thing that you have as a human being, is your breath. Meditation is extremely hard for people who are evil. There's a lot. When you quiet your mind, a lot comes bubbling up. So the clearer your conscience and the less you have to worry about, the easier it is to meditate. So take that into consideration. The other thing that I want to talk about is something came to me last night as I was praying. I can't remember what psalm it is. I'm so ashamed. Maybe it's 23, or I think it's 23, where it says, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. And I think you normally think about that particular passage like you don't want for anything. But when I thought about it, I was like, that's not what it actually means to me. What it actually means to me is like, I don't have personal wants anymore. Like, how do I even explain that? It's almost like, I guess you can say kind of like a husband, where if you know you have to go to the wife for whatever you need. Because if you ask him what does he want, he's going to be like, well, what does she want? It's kind of like that. That's how I feel about it. Where it's like, look, my prayers have changed. I'm not sitting there saying to God, well, can I have this and can I have that and can this it's just like, listen, whatever you want. I want what you want to happen. So you tell me what you want to happen. And that's how you really have to start looking at your journey within being gang stalked and after. Excuse me, there are a lot of illusions being painted. They play with your sense of reality. You really have to depend on your intuition, and your intuition is really the voice of God. That's why a lot of evil people do not have an intuition, because God doesn't talk to them anymore. They are blocked from God. They have blocked themselves from God. In fact, it's not God that's, they've blocked themselves with the things that they've done, with the things that they've participated in, with the things that they refuse to heal, with the karma that they haven't yet paid. But once you're in a situation where you're facing this level of adversity, you absolutely, unequivocally, like, you have to just let God take over the ship. You have gotten here for a reason, but I will speak for myself. As I reflect, I know that I mismanaged a few things. And you know what? God, our path is our path. It has to happen the way that it's happened. It comes with lessons. It comes with experiences that offer us a chance to grow. But I find, like, I was running my business my way. When I first started this business, I was really just looking for an avenue to make money where I felt like I was going to be in control of myself. I didn't have to wake up at a certain hour. I didn't have to go to anybody's job, etc., etc. I could, have control of over my own reality. But it really was based in wanting to make money and just needing the check to clear. And I kept compromising my values more and more and more and more until I found myself here. And it's like, and I think that the same can be said of a lot of people who find themselves in this situation. Is this necessarily how you saw yourself? Maybe there are some people, they grew up in that kind of culture or lifestyle and they don't care. But for others, it's like, is this where you saw yourself? I want to beg to differ. I want to say no. I don't think when someone dreams about the kind of life that they want for themselves, they see this kind of stuff going on. But it's like, here you are and this is what's going on. And you have to be accountable to yourself that you mismanaged yourself somewhere. Somewhere you made a couple wrong turns, not just one. For you to find yourself all the way being gang stalked, something had to have happened here. And for me, I know where I went wrong. It was with the customer base. It was with the clothing. All of it was not me. It wasn't me. But you know what? It's the dead end that finally had to show me, are you going to continue living this way? Are you going to continue putting up with this sort of thing? You have to be yourself. You have to be yourself. And so that's why I bring an authentic part of myself to everything that I do now. I talk about my gang stalking experience on my Instagram, on my business page. That is a part of who I am. That's a huge part. That feels like almost all of who I am at this point. And people make it so, because they won't leave me alone. So it's a huge part of who I am. I know I'm going to continue talking about it for the rest of my life. I feel such a huge responsibility to tell people how I got through this. It's a tough thing to get through. And I know that there are people out there that are just going through the worst. And if you're in the beginning or the middle of your situation, you are going through hell. I could tell you that. I know that right away. I can spot a gang stalking victim anywhere because I know the feeling. I know what's going on. I want to say I carried mine very well. Very well. But again, I had a lot of skills coming into the situation that, like, just core skills that would have carried, that made it easy to deal with, easier to deal with a lot of the aspects of it, like I said. And then I also had a spiritual belief and a very unshakable faith in God that made it very that made it much easier for me to stand my ground and for me to believe that things are going to turn out well. God has never let me down. So I can't see the day that God would let me down, to be honest with you. There's always a feeling in my heart. And I'm never shocked when things work out. I just know it's going to be fine. And it has been. It has been. As you continue to go through this journey, just hold on to your free will. It is yours. That's what people can push you. That's what they're trying to push you to do. Suicide. Hurting and harming other people. Hating the world. This is why I offer a balanced perspective when I talk about the people themselves who are gang stalking, like civilians who are gang stalking, not talking about the people who are getting paid the big money, right? And in my case, they just started bullying people. Cannot tell you the amount of times I stepped outside of my store and saw people watching my store. They didn't want me to see them, and they refused to face the store. They were just in the car or they just wouldn't look. They didn't care. They were forced to be there. They wanted nothing to do with it. They wanted nothing to do with it. There were people on the phone angry and upset, talking to whoever and visibly upset. There were some people like on the verge of tears, and that's from day one. People were like, I don't want to be here right now. Why am I here? I heard that verbatim from a lady. She was like, I don't want to be here right now. Why the hell am I here? From day one, from early on. So don't think that everybody gang stalking you is a POS. Please, some people are gang stalked to get you there, or some people live in the same cage that they're trying to put you in or keep you in. Don't hate the world. That's number one. That is number one. You're not alone. That's number two. Just hashtag gang stalking, Google gang stalking. It's everywhere. You're not the first, you're not the last. It's not just something out of a movie. That's number two. Don't hate the world. When I was done, I had seen so much that by the time I was done being gang stalked, I can still go out in the world and be around people and say hi to strangers and smile to strangers and have a conversation while keeping up obviously very firm boundaries, because it's not something that you're just gonna like start exchanging numbers and being besties with people. Of course not. But like, you can tell the difference between people. Normal people are going to be normal people. They don't care about you. They don't care about, they're not watching you. They're not weird. They're not staring at you and smiling and they're not weird. They're just going about their day. They could care less. You know a normal person versus somebody who's trying to act like a normal person. You know what I'm talking about. And then one day you just wake up. You got to stay in long enough till the day you just wake up and you walk around and nobody's there. And you're going to be in disbelief for the first couple of times. You're like, okay, you know, you don't want to have hope that it's all done, because they don't want it to be done. If it's just done like that, without you, something major happening, if it's just like not done like that, let me tell you, do you know what happened in the course of me being gang stalked? Some older guy in my city went on like a shooting rampage in one of the condos, and there were videos of him that were found online on YouTube of him ranting about all the things that he was going through. And the police very well know that people come in there and people complain about what they're going through, and they talk about it. But it's like, I know to the average person it sounds crazy. It's like, what is going on? Like, they're hearing these stories, but it's not believable. It's not believable. And that's because, again, there's a spiritual component to what is going on. They're casting illusions over people. And when you don't think that it's possible, listen, it's 100%. Who feels it knows, right? The point is that there's going to be a day where it's going to be something that they're going to be forced to address. They're going to be forced to address. It's going to be like how those little kids, those kids that they killed in the schools, in those schools with the Indian people, or I forget what it is. Somebody just brought it up on my YouTube too. I remember when I was younger and I first heard about that, I'm like, what? That's so embarrassing. The fact that they have to report that in school. Are people not disgusted with themselves? Like, how do people come up with these concepts? Children? They were raping and killing children in school. It's insane. It's insane just hearing about it. And you know what? This is the worst part about this whole gang stalking thing, is that no matter how much you explain to somebody else the horrible thing that you've gone through, nobody knows except another gang stalking victim. Only another gang stalking victim can truly understand how horrible this is. This is worse than most people are ever going to face in their life. It's like the worst that they're going to face is still not going to be this bad. I am so happy that the person who did this to me is now suffering the way that he's made other people suffer, because John Ferreira has had just gotten so much pleasure from the pain that he caused other people, and then got paid from it and had no sympathy, remorse, or anything for other people. And now, finally, he can feel the pain that he's put other people through when he's laying in bed begging God, a God that and now he can feel what his victims have lived through and gone through. And let me tell you, it's going to be a long ride, because this is the way his life is going to end, and he's not going anytime soon. Even though originally I was like, he needs to get up out of here, but God's like, no, 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 he needs to feel it. He needs to know, because there are people who he's gang stalked for 5 years plus. So he needs to live this nightmare for that long. And he's put these people in a cycle of endings, a cycle of disappointment, of hurt, of pain, of heartbreak, of nightmare. That's what you're going through. I call it a labyrinth, but it's a cycle of endings, and it's terrifying. Anyway, my phone's dying. There was a lot more I wanted to talk about. I just want to say to you, if you're going through gang stalking, I definitely think there's a spiritual component to it. I think you're a very special human being. It's my personal feeling. I think that you have something spiritually that people want, or else it's like, that's why it doesn't make sense to the police. Like, why? Because it's not like you're rich. It's not like you have a whole ton of money that they're waiting for. I think somebody's money is stuck in Bitcoin too. I don't know, I get the sense of that. And I also think that there's somebody named Miguel, and I can't figure out who's named Miguel, but Miguel is obviously a very popular name in Brazil. So, let me find out. Miguel. That name has been coming up for a long time in my head. Miguel. Somebody's name is Miguel. Anyway, hold on, hold the faith, do not let go, no matter what. I know it's easy you can never say it's easy for me to say. I went through a 1.5 years of bullying. Bullying so severe. They weren't just doing it for fun. They were doing it because they were scared of themselves being in a life or death situation, being in messed up situations themselves. Okay? So no one can say, oh, I don't know what I'm talking about. I went through it. That's why I can come back here and talk about it. You know? These spirit cards. These spirit cards always talk to me. Okay, I'm going to read this. This could be for everybody. Accept where you are at this moment in time. Accept where you are at this moment in time. Only then can you begin to move forward. Be clear about your intentions. This makes it easier for us and the universe to help you. Doors will open unexpectedly. Be ready. You really have to just believe that this thing is going to end at some point, even though you don't really believe it, because every day you wake up and they're trying to keep your mind in position that like it's never going to end, it's not going to stop. You have to just know that no one's going to gang stalk you for 10 years. I know there are people that believe that they're being gang stalked for 10 years. I think there is residual pieces of it, but I don't think it's active. Like, I don't think it's horrible. Somebody commented right away on my YouTube that they'd been gang stalked for 33 years. And I think that's a little bit long, you know. I'm at 1.5 years, 2 years. I'm over 1.5 years, okay? Going up to 2 years in the summer. I think July is going to make it 2 years. I'm already over that shit. I don't care what you do when I'm in the streets. I really don't. They could backflip in the streets. They could somersault. They could drive a vehicle, do a donut in front of me. They could do jumping jacks as I walk by. I don't care. I'm over it. I'm tired. You ever been tired of somebody? You're tired. You don't care. I don't care. As long as no one steps in my face, touches me, does anything to my kids, I don't care. It is what it is. People have to do what they have to do, and you gotta go along with your life. But the part you have to take care of is yourself spiritually and mentally, or you're going to go insane. And that's a easier thing to happen than you think. With the right circumstances, it's easier to happen than you think. You got to keep your wits about you, and you got to find peace constantly. And yes, that means you have to isolate from people. You have to take time to yourself. You have to find where your space is with God, the Most High, the universe, whoever it is that you talk to. But it needs to be like a real relationship, not just like how people who are in a good place say God this and God that, and then they turn around and they no. Like, you need real help in your life right now. You really have to talk to God. You have to find God. You have to look for answers. It's not going to come from human beings, because no human being will help you right now. Even if people see what's going on with you and they want to sympathize, no one wants to put themselves in that situation with you. That's the truth. In my situation, they were bullying people to do this to me. Okay, so this is another one that I want to read out as well. Go back to the heart of who you truly are. There you will find peace. Look at your life in its entirety. Acknowledge any old wounds and then release them. Use what they taught you as added strength. Keep moving forward with a renewed sense of confidence. This is where I'm at right now, because this thing will turn you cold. This thing has the potential to turn you evil. This has the potential to make you lose faith in God. Like, you will, if God was not like really with me, if my faith was not really rock solid, I promise you, I would think God abandoned me. I'd think, how is this possible that this is happening to me? But it happens to everybody. Everybody. And you got to think about it this way, and I don't know if it'll make anybody feel better. Gang stalking happens to celebrities much more than it happens to other people. Celebrities are celebrities, politicians, anyone like that. I used to work in insurance, and we used to have to ask people, are they politically exposed? Which means like you or any of your family members in public office, because these people are threatened all the time. They're followed, they're stalked all the time. So if we did a policy for someone like that, we wouldn't put their real name, their real address. It would be sealed. It would have to go to a different department that is more confidential. We would have to like there were certain rules around how we could even take the application. That's to show you it's real, and they fucking know it's real. They know it's real. It's because you're a person with no money that, you know, listen, I see the world differently. If you have money, you walk into the station, you pay some police officers, you hire them, because you can hire them as a private citizen, blah, 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 whatever, okay, and blah, 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 all right? It's when you're broke that a lot of things happen to you and they take advantage of you. But at the end of the day, you have to still have a life. You have to still eat. You have to still get sleep. You still have to go to work. You have to calm yourself down. You have to relax. You have to find peace, and you have to find a sense of normal in this chaos. In the middle of this, I was still opening stores. I was still buying and selling homes. I was still working out, losing weight. Whatever I had to do, I was still doing it. I was still doing it. I did a lot of praying, a lot of meditating, a lot of reading the Bible, a lot of finding resources, a lot of finding strength, because life is life. And it's like I said, I would compare myself. I said, look at the people in Palestine right now, where little kids, like I was watching a video and they're just sitting there and shells are going off all day long, all day long. That's not my reality. My reality is every time I go outside, people follow me everywhere. People try to bother me spiritually, etc., etc. But imagine if you're sitting there and you hear a bomb and you don't know if the next one is going to fall on your head, and that's when you go. There are people in worse realities than you. And in my particular case, and I give this as an example, I really want it to stick. As bad as it is for me to be gang stalked, the person gang stalking me took money from the cartel, and they're on his ass. Watch any of those shows on Netflix, on YouTube, on whatever. Like, this is not a fun place for anybody to be. As a matter of fact, I saw an ad on my Instagram about sex change. And I know he's gay, bisexual, whatever it is, because I see all these gay ads constantly come on my feed. I screenshot them all the time, actually. And one came up about somebody transitioning, changing their sex. And I did take a screenshot of it, Because you know what? I'm sick and tired of saying that I see all this stuff on my feed. I'm a woman. I'm a black woman, okay? When my feed is normal, I see black hair, I see the Shade Room, I see Justin LeBoy, I see things like that, okay? Why would I be seeing gay nightclubs? Why would I be seeing gay men? What, like, why on my feed? Doesn't make any sense, right? So, anyway, I say all that to say, imagine somebody is trying to change their sex to try to, like, live. They're looking for survival methods. You right now are getting gang stalked. Are you thinking about changing your sex? Are you thinking about that your door can get kicked down any day now? Are you thinking about that stuff? No. You just know that there's somebody out there that just wants to bully you. But you can't say for sure, you know, there's somebody that wants to kill me, that wants to put a gun to my head, that wants me to not be alive anymore. You can't say that. So it can always be worse. It can always be worse. You just got to get through this thing. That's all God said to me the whole time. Just get through it. Get through it. Be strong. Don't give up. And I was weak. There were moments, I know I made it look good, but there were moments I was tired. I was like, I'm sick and tired of this, because it's like, then it started getting to the point where they didn't want me to work. They were blocking my work. They're blocking my emails. And it's like, now I got to take it seriously. Now I have to act like I'm in a movie. Now I got to write reports and mail them all over the place and do all this kind of crazy stuff. It's like, and those are the things probably that are making it even worse now, is just them pushing me so far and me having to take the actions and things that I probably would not have done had it been left alone. But like I said, be strong. No one's killing you. And especially if you're a drug mule, the reason they're bullying you is because you represent a dollar amount every month. The work that you're doing represents a dollar amount every month. So if you do not get on that plane, you're not giving that dollar amount to somebody. That's all they're trying to make sure, is that they get the money in their pocket. Nobody's interested in like disposing of drug mules, okay? Look at what they go through to get drug mules. You think you just want to throw drug mules away? Your cargo. Okay, it's like cattle. Yeah, you're gonna beat them to stay on the road, but nobody just kills a cow for no reason. That's money. You don't just do that. So don't worry about your life. Don't worry about your safety. Stay strong. Get through it. No means no after a while. If you are costing people now the same amount of money that they should be making on you monthly, then it becomes something that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. They're gonna give up, and eventually they do. I promise you, eventually they do. They can't do this forever. I constantly say it. They cannot do it forever. There's a time period that it takes. So you just have to survive it. So that's what my YouTube is about. Ways for people to survive, to ease the pain so you don't need to give up, to cleanse your space from when you feel this kind of negative stuff come around you. And I talk about crystals because crystals helped me a lot. I mean, in real time. Crystals are not like an imaginary thing. They really help you. So I already pulled the spirit cards tonight. I'm going to see what crystal comes out for tonight. I always talk about, first of all, any protective crystal is a crystal that you need. Any crystal that can help you with your money is a crystal that you need, because they attack your money. You need to just look at all the chakras, the main ones, and then you need to get crystals for all the chakras, because they're attacking every single chakra. Your money, your friendship, every one of your astrological houses is under attack. Your friendships, your love life, your children, your work, your public image, all of it, especially your public image. They need to destroy your public image to destroy you. I actually like this one. I have to read it fast before my live ends. But the crystal I got is aquamarine. Aquamarine is the crystal of clairvoyance and enhanced perception, so intuition. Gateway to the higher realms. Counteracting the forces of darkness and procuring favor from angels and higher beings. Aquamarine brings unfinished business to a conclusion and ensures closure on all levels. Okay, so I gotta get that. Aquamarine removes extraneous thoughts, filtering information reaching the brain, and clarifying perception, making it an ideal crystal to support meditation. It also strengthens intuition and assists clairvoyance. Aquamarine dissolves self-defeating programs, allowing the soul to be heard. It protects the aura, balances the chakras, which I was just talking about, aligns the subtle bodies, and facilitates spiritual communication. On the body, it's good for hormonal, immune, and autoimmune systems, throat, glands, thyroid, pituitary, which is the gland in your brain, eyes, jaw, teeth, and stomach. And for your mind, it enhances self-expression, overcomes fear, soothes stress, and clarifies perception. Okay, so if you're listening to this, I think everybody needs this. I'm going to keep this out because I'm going to go buy this right now online. I believe in crystals. I really do. I have tons of crystals. I have crystals on standby. I have crystals. I sleep with crystals. I meditate with crystals. When we get cramps in our house for period pains, even though my children try to act like they don't care about the crystals, they come in my room and they're like, Mom, can I have the crystal? And they sit with it. We don't take Tylenol. We don't take medication for stuff anymore. My one daughter used to have really bad cramps and she doesn't take anything for it. We just sit with crystals. Again, they try to pretend like, oh, I'm into this stuff, and they're not into it. And then there's certain days my daughter comes to my room and she's like, I have a test today. Can I have some of your crystals? Or when she had to do her driver's license, this girl did the driver's license like at least 2 times before and failed, and I could see her panicking and losing confidence in herself, and I was like, I'm gonna go with you. And I prayed with her and I gave her my crystals, and she came back, she's like, I passed. So it's like, listen, it doesn't matter what people think about your beliefs or what you start to believe in or what you have to cling on to hope. You have to find hope to cling on to at this time. Whatever brings you hope is nobody's business to say if it is or if it doesn't. It doesn't even matter. What matters is that you have hope. Because when people take your hope and you give up, that's when you're done. And that's what I explained in another video. That's what they're trying to take from you. They're trying to take your hope. They're trying to take your positivity. They're trying to take you away from you taking risks, etc., etc. If you call on to God for real. Because this situation is so isolating that you're not going to pray normally. Normal people pray in a normal way. You're going to be crying to God. You're going to be on your knees. That's where God needs you to hear. And that's where God's also going to speak back to you. So you're not going to have a normal experience during this process, but you need to find hope wherever it is. After every video, I do a crystal. I'm definitely going to get aquamarine. I suggest anybody listening to it, like, let me see. I don't know if I have enough time. Yeah, I have 3 minutes left. If I read this again, this is literally like a gang stalking crystal. Like everything that you need. And for me personally, anything that will strengthen my intuition or will strengthen with my ability to, with my prayer or tapping into God, is something that I'm interested in, to be honest with you. And I think it's just something that most of us need. It's really sad because all of these illusions are painted around people and people don't even see it. And it's like you're getting gang stalked and people around you just are facing confusion. They don't see what you see. They don't experience what you experience. So it sounds crazy to them. They're like, what? What are you talking about? And it takes a long time. Only when God closes the cycle for you, then people are like, whoa. Something was weird about that. That did happen. Oh my God, you're right, etc., etc. But it's like you already went through hell and back. And it's like, who can pay you for what you've went through? Like, your mental health has been stretched, you know, as it is. But like I'm saying, I still come on my Instagram, even though I have a following. Like, I'm building a little bit of a following. It's nothing crazy on YouTube. I still come on Instagram because there are a lot of people in this drug culture. There are a lot of people that are being targeted and they don't know. And there are a lot of people that either have gone through it or know what's happened. Nobody's quite sure what has happened in this process. They just know something weird happened. So that's what I'm here to talk about. My YouTube is pinned at the bottom. It's called God's Way 1019. Thank you to the girl who came or the person who came and stuck through to the end of the video. Have yourself a good night.